All right. This is First Chronicles 12 and verse 8. And of the Gadites that separated themselves unto David, to the wilderness men of might, and men of war fit for the battle, that could handle the shield and the buckler, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and were as swift and rose up upon mountains.
First and foremost, I'm going to give all glory, honor, and praises unto
Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Bakah, Kodash.
double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Well, peace, love, salutation to the elect for the first fruit. I'm the brother Kasha Kwala.
I'm the brother Takaria.
We're coming to you from the Church of Atlanta here in Georgia, okay? And we just wanted to go into certain particular tribes. Actually, probably all the tribes, but the main two is Gad and Reuben, because we're in the southeast region, and that was primarily controlled and ruled by Reuben. There's a lot of Reubenites here in Atlanta. There's a lot of Gadites, there's a lot of northern tribe here in Atlanta, okay? And as we know, Gad, Reuben, half the tribe of Manasseh are the warrior tribes. But don't get it mistaken, all the other tribes get down, they get busy too, okay? So we just bringing this out here too, as well, because in this camp alone, we have, I think, 8 or 9 Reuben and mix of Reuben and Gad. And through the spirit, like just seeing how the brothers operate in their spirits, you can tell they're warriors. You can tell they, you can tell when the Lord gets the green light, they gonna get busy with this thing, man. And you 2/3 out here in Atlanta, man, y'all got it coming, man. A whole bunch of Gadites and Reubenites are gonna go buck wild on y'all when the Lord gives us power and gives us the green light. Okay? And a lot of 1/3 are gonna get saved by a mighty hand, okay? Coming from the men who the Lord chose to relinquish that power to. Okay? So go ahead and reread First Chronicles 12 and 10.
God. This is First Chronicles 12 and verse 8. And of the Gadites that separated themselves unto David.
That's right. So it says the Gadites separated themselves unto David. When you go and read 2 Samuel, I think the 2nd chapter, it talks about David going into war, if I'm not mistaken. Because when you go into the 1st and the 2nd chapter, the 3rd, and so on and so forth of 2 Samuel, that was during the time where the house of Saul and the house of David were kind of going at it. Because the house of Saul was kind of withering away, but they were being, you could say, stubborn, and still wanted the throne, okay? But the Gadites were with King David. That's why when you read, if I'm not mistaken, in the 1st chapter of 2 Samuel, all the tribes anointed or accepted David to be king, okay? So go ahead.
God, unto David, unto the wilderness men of might.
That's right, into the wilderness men of might. And as we know, the Gadites are the so-called Native Americans, okay? Those native, like you could say like Cherokee Indians, if I'm not mistaken, Choctaw, all them type of Indians up there in Idaho, Montana. Actually, Idaho, Montana, those are Gadite or so-called Native American names. Most of these states, like Oklahoma, Kansas, if I'm not mistaken, Alabama, Idaho, Montana, North, South Dakota, Minnesota, those are all so-called Native American language. And that's the names of those states, they're Native American names. It's not a white man. Actually, Gadites named these states. You know what I'm saying? So primarily, a lot of America is Gadite type names. Okay? So go ahead. But it says wilderness men of might. And when you go into Montana and all this, a lot of plains and that's a lot of wilderness. And they're mighty in that type of environment. That's why you need to watch the movie The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio. In the very beginning of that movie, Gad was jacking Esau up. Oh, it was a beautiful sight too. Go ahead.
And don't catch a Gadite in the wilderness in that day.
Because now that Gadite has home field advantage. All right, you got it.
And men of war fit for the battle.
Men of war fit for the battle. So the Gadites were ready to go to war. And that's why I said earlier, you 2/3 out here in Atlanta, y'all got it coming. Because what? We got what? 4 Gadites or 3 Gadites and like 6 Reubenites in our camp. Y'all about to get it, man.
Get it.
So go ahead. If you got anything to expound.
We real quick in that. You know, anger. And when we felt the power of that day, that the Lord put on his men, y'all gonna get it, man.
That's right.
That could handle shield and a buckler.
Shield and buckler are synonymous. It's a shield, so go ahead.
God. Whose faces were like faces of lions.
This is how you cannot tell me that the so-called Native Americans are not Israelites. You cannot tell me they're not Israelites. It says whose faces were like the faces of lions. When you look into the Native Americans, they would paint their faces. You know, they would have
the high cheekbone.
That's
right. You know, when you look at lions, they kind of have like strong cheekbone.
Yep, they sure do. And even in myself, one way I figured out how I was a Gadite myself is from my physical features. I'm not trying to boast or brag, but it's as an example. You know, I have high cheekbones. I have real light eyes. My hair grows at an extreme fast rate. You know what I'm saying? My characteristics, same with this brother. But we have a good elder, the head of camp, Elder Atazawamba, ahead of us to teach us how to rule our spirit. But man, when we get mad, boy, we get mad. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the attribute of a Gadite is like, he's a chill kind of guy when he's like me and him. We can chill as hard as a Judite. But if you get us riled up, it's a different person. You know what I'm saying? That's how Gad works, man. And see, I kind of getting riled up right now.
Yeah, man.
That's just our spirit. You know what I'm saying? And the Reubenites, they on 100 all day, every day. That's just their spirit. Prime example of a Reubenite is Elder Prashai up there in DC. Okay? That's just how he teaches, but he knows how to rule his spirit. And that's what we're doing right now. We know how to rule our spirit. Once the Most High gives us the green light, hey, our spirits is going to release. It's kind of like how, you know, Dragon Ball Z, how Goku just power up and just release all his energy. That's how we gonna be in that day, except we gonna have everlasting energy through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. It's gonna be a beautiful time. Y'all 2/3 here in Atlanta, God will come. I'm just gonna reiterate that. So go ahead.
We hate every single last one.
That's right.
2/3.
So it says whose faces were like the faces of lions. So that's another indication that Gad is the so-called Native Americans. So go ahead, brother.
And were as swift as the roads upon the mountains.
A roe is like a deer, okay? It's like a deer when you see them like mountain deers, you know what I'm saying? The rams that be up on the mountains, on the cliffs of the rock, just whack, whack. Just swift as all get out, a gazelle.
Like that movie Annihilation.
Yeah.
How that was in the wilderness. They was on a cord with each other. They was hopping like this.
And they were swift.
They were swift with it too.
Swift and smooth. You know, it was like a collaboration. You know, if you get a Gad, 2 Gadites, or 2 Reubenites, or a Gadite and a Reubenite together, it's over. It's over. And a lot here in Atlanta, more than likely, there is going to be a Gadite or a Reubenite or 2 Reubenites or 2 Gadites together. And it's over for you 2/3 niggas. And for you 1/3, we gonna get you up out of here. We gonna tell you to latch on and say, I did all this through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But you gonna know it was a Gadite and a Reubenite who did it. Okay?
Look around. Shit.
Yeah. And then we gonna be swift as roes. Like I said, a roe is like a deer on the mountains. Okay? When you research about a Native Americans, so-called Native Americans, created the game lacrosse. This brother right here played lacrosse. You didn't know that, man.
And I love. Yes, bro.
The Native Americans made the game lacrosse. It's not a white man's sport. It's a Native American sport. But white man dwindled it down because they're so unathletic to just a 100-yard football field. I don't know, is it that big? Or is it a little smaller?
Actually, I think it's a little bigger.
Oh, it's a little bigger? Okay, like as big as a soccer field.
Got it.
Okay, so because the soccer field is bigger than the football field, they dwindled it down to that. The Gadites and the Reubenites, when they did lacrosse, which is probably not called lacrosse, when they did it like, I want to say 30 to 100 miles. The goals were that far apart from each other.
And to keep in mind, the goals were like this small. Yep. You have a long stick, a ball. Now I remember, man, you had to have good aim. If you played on defense, you had to be real strong. You had to have endurance to keep up with the offense.
That's right.
And what I just boom. Hey, how it is.
And you know what's crazy too? They did play on feet, but they also played on horseback.
Yeah, kind of.
You know,
and then we get what, polo?
That's what you can say polo. I think that more originated over there in Europe.
Got it.
But you have to be skilled. I think if I'm not mistaken, the scriptures talk about you're good with horseback too. But we'll see where that is. But you know, all these are characteristics of a so-called Native American Gadite. Okay, and that shows you that these men were fit for the battle, fit for war. They painted their faces like war paint. They can move real quick and fast. They were good with the shield, okay? So with that, we're gonna prove it some more how the Gadites and the Reubenites were some fierce warriors in half the tribe of Manasseh. Go to 1 Chronicles chapter 5, verse 18.
John, this is 1 Chronicles chapter 5, verse 18. The sons of Reuben and the Gadites and half the tribe of Manasseh of valiant men, valiant men, men able to bear buckler and sword, that's that shield and sword, and to shoot with bow, and skillful in war, for 440,703 score that went out to the war.
So you can't sit here and tell me that. Is Reubenites are the so-called Seminole Indians. The Gadites are the Native Americans. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit here and tell me that this scripture does not describe who the white man calls Indians. I'm not calling them Indians because the word Indian means a savage. In real talk, we were savagely effing y'all up. You Edomites up for lack of better words.
And speaking on that, now I go to it's majority, so-called black. When I was on the lacrosse team, we went against a lot of Edomite schools. And boy, they were scared. So we was all big, and we had a couple plays with flip an Edomite in the air and all kinds of stuff. They was scared. I remember hearing them talking to each other. Look at him right here. Look at him. And they don't like us. It's just through the spirit too. We don't like you.
That's right.
We hate Edomites.
That's right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get an example of that. Go to I think 2 Kings chapter 14.
2 Kings chapter 14.
Yeah. 2 Kings chapter 14 and 23. Matter of fact, just hold that, and then we're gonna go jump back to 1 Chronicles 12. Yeah. So, because, like we said earlier, Reuben, Gad, half the tribe of Manasseh are warrior tribes, good with the buckler and shield and sword and the bow and arrow and skillful in war. That doesn't mean all the other tribes aren't either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, this is, what is that saying? 14. What is 14 and 23? Just so I know.
You said 23, right? You said 14, 23, right?
Oh, 1 Kings 14.
Oh.
So I said 2 Kings. That's my fault. But yeah, we're going to get into all the other tribes and how they were valiant men too, man. Just because you're a Judite don't mean you can't get busy just like a Gadite too.
Alright, first.
Hold on. But go back to 1 Chronicles chapter 12, but jump down to verse 23. So like I'm in 2 Kings 14 and 7. You're right. First time. But I'll go with you.
Alright, come.
So jump down to verse 23.
Verse 23. And the children of the half tribe of Manasseh dwell in the land. They increased from Ashan unto Baal, Hermon, and Sinar, and until Mount Hermon. And these were the heads of the house of their fathers, even Epher and Ishah.
So you in 1 Chronicles 12 and 23?
Oh, I was at verse 5. So,
Yeah, go to 12 and 23.
12 and 23.
1 Chronicles 12 and 23.
God, that's a lot.
No, you good, brother.
Alright. This is 1 Chronicles 12 and 23. And these are the numbers of the bands that were ready armed to the war, and came to David to Hebron, to turn the kingdom of Saul to him according to the word of the Lord.
See, you see right there what I said earlier. When you read 1st and 2nd Samuel, they were, the house of Saul and David were at strife to one another. That's why the scriptures right there said, turn the kingdom of Saul to him. To who? To King David, because he sat in the rulership seat, and there was the beginning of his rulership, his time of rule. Because remember, in the end of 1 Samuel, the last chapter, King Saul, fell upon himself, meaning he killed himself, okay? And he died, and the Philistines took his body and really disrespected it, okay? And when King David heard about that, he mourned, he cried. He understood that Jonathan was passed away too, died in battle. But that was all part of prophecy, because Saul woke Samuel back up, his spirit, and Samuel gave him his judgment, like, you and your sons will die, okay? And that's exactly what happened, okay? So it says turn the kingdom to Saul, turn the kingdom of Saul to him. So there was a change in rulership, okay? So go ahead in verse 24, because we're gonna get into the other tribes. And y'all other tribes, man, y'all be getting it in too, okay? King David was a Judite. King David was getting it in. The reason he couldn't build the temple was he had too much blood on his hand. Okay, so go ahead.
The children of Judah that bear shield and spear were 6,800, ready armed to the war.
Ready armed to the war, man. The Judites were ready, man. The Judites were ready. So that's an example. So I'm gonna get this example right here of a Judite going to work. Okay. This is 2 Kings chapter 14 and 1. In the second year of Joash, son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel, reigned Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah. I'm gonna skip down to verse 3, and because I'm gonna read from a righteous king perspective, not a wicked one. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, yet not like David his father. He did according to all things as Joash his father did. He did what was right in the sight of Yahweh. He says, not as David, not like David, but he did he did good. Not like David good, but he did you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna jump down to verse 7. And this, and how we know, Amaziah was a Judite, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, verse 7, it says, he slew of Edom in the valley of Salt 10,000. So Judites be getting it in too, man. All right, and the Edomites, okay, and took Salah by war and called the name of it Joktheel unto this day. So you Judites be getting busy too, man. So go ahead back to 1 Chronicles and jump to the next verse.
1 Chronicles 12 and start at 24 again. The children of Judah that bear shield and spear were 6,800, ready armed to the war.
Think about that. Now you have Gad, you have Reuben, half the tribe of Manasseh, good with the shield, buckler, sword, probably every instrument of war. Now you got the children of Judah who are good with the shield and the spear. And you just read that was that Amaziah? He killed 10,000 Edomites. Okay, so go ahead. So now you got them 4 tribes, all right? And And we got some Judites, we have a lot of Reuben and Gadites in our camp. We have a lot of northern tribes in our camp. That we, hey man, and that day we're gonna get busy. Lord willing, that's a lot. That Jeremiah 16 and 16. But go ahead, brother.
Verse 25. The children of Simeon, mighty men of valor for the war, valor for the war, 7,100.
Mighty men, valor for the war. Shemaiah, the tribe of Simeon. All right, keep going.
Verse 26. Of the children of Levi, 4,600.
Hold that right there. Okay, it just gives a number for Levi. Doesn't mean Levi don't be getting busy. So I'm gonna get an example of Levi. Okay, so this is 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 32. Then said Samuel, and Samuel was a Levite. All right, he was a priest. Then said Samuel, bring ye hither to me Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came unto him delicately, like that, like a little pump. And Agag said, surely the bitterness of death is past. So I'm gonna jump down, okay? Now I'm just gonna read verse 33. And Samuel said, as the sword hath made women childless, because you gotta remember what the Amalekites did to the children of Israel in the Exodus. I advise y'all to go read about that, okay? It says, so shall thy mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. He hewed him in pieces. He took that sword, chop, chop, chop. You know, you got what I'm saying, brother?
Oh no,
okay, come on. You know, so that's an example of a Levite getting busy. So Levites gonna get busy too. Hey man, we show love to all the tribes, man, because we all brotherly. Okay?
We all get busy together. We want that day, one body.
That's right.
All like-minded. That's same thing. Tear Babylon down.
That's right.
Ultimately, how about shot. It'll be good to fight, with your brothers and with him.
Exactly. So jump down to verse 29.
Verse 29. And of the children of Benjamin, the kindred of Saul, 3,000.
It said the kindred of Saul, because Saul was a Benjamite, so go ahead.
For hitherto, the greatest part of them had kept the ward of the house of Saul.
All right, so Benjamites, they be getting busy too. You can read about Benjamites getting busy in the book of Samuel, okay? Because a Benjamite led them into certain battles, particular battles. You can read all the way up to before they got to Goliath, how when Saul and King David came back, the women were singing, Saul killed thousands, but King David killed tens of thousands. If you kill thousands, you still killed a lot. So that was an example of Benjamite getting busy too. All right, so go ahead to the next verse.
Verse 30. And of the children of Ephraim.
Salat. And Benjamin in Hebrew is Benjamin. So go ahead.
Verse 30. And the children of Ephraim, 20,800.
That's right, 20,800. Ephraim, Aparium. So go ahead.
Mighty man of valor, famous throughout the house of their father.
See, mighty men were valid. Okay, so these men were no pushovers either. So go ahead to the next one.
Verse 31. And of the half tribe of Manasseh.
All right, Manasseh, if I'm not mistaken, it's Manasseh, I think. So go ahead.
18,000, which were expressed by name to come and make David king.
Hey, expressed by name. So they're like, the Manassites, man, the Manassites, go get them. You know what I'm saying? We already read about the Manassites in 1 Chronicles 5:18. They were just like the Gad and Reubenites, okay? Half the tribe of Manasseh. Okay, so go ahead to the next one. This is speaking about Issachar. Issachar in Hebrew is Yeshkashka, okay? They had a pivotal part, so go ahead and read it.
Verse 32. And of the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times, to know what Israel ought to do, the heads of them were 200, and all their brethren were at their commandment.
That's right. But it says what the children of Israel they knew the times. Okay, they knew the times and the signs and the seasons. Okay, who now and who we know today? The Aztecs. Those are Ishikarites. The Mayans. Those are Ishikarites. They had good knowledge of times. That's when, that 2012, people thought the world was going to end because the Mayan calendar thing ended, because the Mayan calendar was spot on. Okay? It was spot on. They understood the signs in the skies and everything. And that's what Issachar was there for King David to, hey, we should go into battle now because, the signs, we should do this, we should fall back, we should ambush here at this time. That's a pivotal thing.
Yeah, they were real good at calculating the stars and the moon, things in the sky of that nature.
That's right. Go ahead. You got it spot on. Because you can't just jump into battle and just go battle. You'll get beat the hell up. You gotta know when. You gotta know when to move. You gotta know when to stay placed. You gotta know when to ambush. You gotta know when to just come up front. You know what I'm saying? And Issachar would let King David know, hey, we need to do this because of what it's saying in the heavens. Okay? That's a pivotal thing. You see how each tribe makes one entire nation? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They're all Israelites. They just have their own prospective tribes and prospective lands. Okay? But when they all come together, you ain't fucking with the Israelites. It's a lot. Excuse my French. You ain't messing with the Israelites. Okay? So go down to Zebulun.
Verse 33 of Zebulun, such as went forth to battle, expert in war, with all instruments of war, 50,000 which could keep rank, they were not of double heart.
Ooh, Zebulun. They said who went forth to battle, expert in war, okay, and with all instruments of war. So I digress on my statement earlier, saying, hey man, we was not just Gad, Reuben, and Manasseh. Zebulun was good with every object of war, man. And it says which could keep rank. They were in order.
Yeah.
They were in order, and it said and they were not of double heart. So they weren't wavering in their mind. It was like, well, we going to war? Then we going to war. That's what I'm focusing on.
Let's get busy.
Let's get busy. You know?
And I know they enjoyed it, man.
Yeah. It was like a sport.
Edomite asses. It's a lot.
Yeah, come. Salat, if it slips out, language, but we, that's willing our own spirit, man. Gad, man. But like Elder Apostle Kahari had a video that said being seasoned with speech. Hey, we all make some faults, but hey, we good, man. We gonna keep rolling in the spirit. So go ahead. I made my faults this lesson too, man. So yeah, you good, brother. So go ahead.
34. And of Naphtali, 1,000 captains, and with them with shield and spear, 37,000.
Shield and spear, just like Judah.
Yep.
Perfect, brother. Just like Judah, shield and spear. And Naphtali is Naphtali, if I'm pronouncing that correctly in Hebrew. It says 1,000 captains. So the men were of high ranking and high stature. Okay? And just like Zebulun kept rank, don't you think Naphtali kept rank too with the captains? Alright, so go ahead to the next one.
Verse 35. And of the Danites.
The tribe of Dan, which got pretty much eliminated, but we'll see Dan back in the kingdom. So go ahead.
Expert in war, 28,600.
The Danites were experts in war. So go ahead.
Verse 36. And of Asher.
And how you say Dan in Hebrew is just done, okay? Which means judge. So go ahead.
And of Asher, such as went forth to battle, expert in war, 40,000.
That's right. Asher went forth to battle. They're experts in war too. You see how all the tribes begin getting it in, man? They begin in. All right. This is Asher is Ashar, which is Asher in Hebrew. Okay. So go on to the next verse.
All right, verse 37. And on the other side of Jordan, of the Reubenites,
Reuben, Rahabim,
and the Gadites,
Gad, God. So go ahead.
and the half tribe of Manasseh,
Like we mentioned earlier, Manasseh. So go ahead.
all men of instruments of war for the battle.
There you go. So hey, they were good with all instruments of war as well. So go ahead.
120,000.
Keep reading.
All these men of war that could keep rank.
Also, all of them could keep rank, but Zebulon, that was their primary, attribute. But all of them can keep rank. They all kept order. Okay, so go ahead. Under King David, so go ahead.
God came with a perfect heart.
A perfect heart, so all of them were in like mind. That's why we got each prospective camp in each place in the world, man. All of us are in like mind, and when it's time for battle, it's time for battle, baby. So go ahead.
Came with a perfect heart to Hebron to make David king over all Israel.
That's what I was saying earlier. And when you read 2 Samuel, the first chapter, this is what they did. So go ahead.
God. And all the rest also of Israel were of one heart to make David king.
One mind. They all wanted King David to be their king, man.
God.
And that's how, and you know what? Ultimately, the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai put it on them to have David be their king, man.
God.
And he made them all with one heart. It's like, no, King David is going to be your king, man. And all of them, and the spirits was like, yeah, King David is going to be our king. You know what I'm saying?
God.
But we just wanted to get into that. Hey, people, 2/3 in Atlanta and across the, because the 2/3 are comprised inside of, no, that's everywhere actually. But the 1/3 is comprised inside of America. Okay, because when you read Zechariah 13, it says in the land. And when it speaks about in the land, it's speaking about a particular land. What particular land is that? It's America. Okay, Babylon. Because Babylon is one of the main lands to get prophesied on, if not the main one. Okay, because this is the one that's going to get 200 million missiles. All right, a lot of the elect 44 are in America because the Lord needs His men to bring down His place. Of course, elect 44 are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, but a lot of all of the 1/3 and a lot of 144 are comprised in America. Okay, so like we were saying, the topic at hand, these Gadites, these Reubenites, and half the tribe of Manasseh, and the rest of the tribe are going to get busy in that day, man. And like we said, specifically here in Atlanta, 2/3 niggas got it coming, man, because most of our camp is either Gad or Reuben. I think even more than half of our camp is either Gad or Reuben. So,
and there's what, like 22 million people in the city of Atlanta?
No. It's 10 million people in Georgia.
Oh, in Georgia, okay, got it.
And 7 million people in Atlanta alone. So that's go ahead.
People just come here to just do more wickedness. Homosexuality. People come here to get butt done, chest done, all types of with they switch.
Yep.
Switch up. Yeah. They come get big old houses and just do all types of wickedness, man. We see all that. In that day, man, we're gonna get y'all.
That's right.
I believe, might be the hopeful elect, but I pray that the Lord, keep the spirit within us, so we, keep going on throughout this fight. But yeah, man, that's all I have to say.
Hey, that's beautiful. Hey, he could have said it any better, man. Through the spirit. So with that, man, we're gonna give all glory, honor, and praises unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rekah, Kodash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect before the first fruit. All right, keep fighting, keep pushing. All right, Doctor. All right, shalom.
Shalom.